with a non-fun gerbils. Come on now, non-fun with a gerbil. We interview founders and builders with the focus on the tech and the fundamentals. George and Luke have been friends since they were kids. We collaborate with the audience to make scarce, dank, creative gerbils. Rudem00se is a force to be reckoned with. With a non-fun gerbils, with a non-fun gerbils, with a non-fun gerbil.
Welcome to season 2 of the Non-Fun Gerbils. I'm here with George.
Hello.
And I'm here with Rudem00se.
Oh.
We are calling this season 2 because we're having a bit of a shake-up in the Non-Fun Gerbils. And Rudem00se is joining us as a full-time gerbil.
Yay!
Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here.
Super exciting to have someone else joining us, especially someone with so much experience and who's been in the gerbils for so long and writing stories and just generally being an awesome part of the community. So yeah, super excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm honestly a little surprised y'all let me hang out here, given the idea I had last Christmas to have the color your own gerbil entries, which I imagine was a whole lot of work, but I have that one still displayed here at home. So
That was a lot of work, that one, but it was fun and it was very unique, and I don't think anyone's done anything like it since, such is often the way with the gerbils.
yes, we'll have lots of fun things that I can now help with when I come up with these fabulous ideas.
Awesome. So we are going to be focusing this year on bringing out a whole load of new podcasts. We've got a lot of interesting people that we want to speak to. And we are set up with gerbils on the Flow blockchain. So we're going to have Flow-based non-fun gerbils. And we're good to go. Everything's ready. We've got a new logo. We've come out of 2022 as well, which was a rough year generally for the NFT space. And it feels like we're kind of rock bottom now. So it's a good time to pick it back up.
It's when all the best things happen, when the space is moving slow, because there's really not a lot of FOMO to get swept up in. So you have to find ways to entertain yourself and find ways to, keep people engaged, which I think is the perfect time to do new things.
Yeah, and the cloud frenzy of FOMO and insane projects has kind of blown away. So now we're left with everyone who's left and all the builders, and the interesting projects are much easier to go through them.
Very exciting indeed.
So, Rudem00se, can you tell us a little bit about yourself for those of us who don't know who you are or what your background is?
Absolutely. So my background is a long, winding adventure that landed me here into the Web3 space in, I think, the most perfect of ways. I have degrees in both computer science and information technology and communication, focusing in mass media and graphic design. So those things don't really sound like they go together, but I had started with communication and then was like, I still can't solve the problems I want to solve because I'm by nature a problem solver. So that's how I ended up in computer science. And it was while I was doing that degree that 5 years ago, next week actually, I had discovered CryptoKitties. And when I was told about this project, I was referred to it and told that it was a very terrible idea. It was the most absurd thing they'd ever heard of. And I was like, I need to check it out. That sounds funny. And when I saw the website, and I was like, these are cute little cartoon cats, and there's a, kind of a game behind it with the breeding. But most importantly, at the time, the website had said that these were, digital kitties that were DTF. And I was like, look, y'all are cheeky and funny and take my money. I don't know anything about crypto, at this point 5 years ago, but I will figure it out because this is fun and I want to be a part of it. And it was, through these cats that I ended up joining, the crypto and Web3 space. I had no experience with it before, but I found that, my other experiences really lended themselves well to this space, being able to grow in the CryptoKitties Discord and do content creation. And then, for a while, actually, spending a year and a half working at Dapper, doing community management and working with, the whale members community, and now Collabland. Like, there are a lot of, amazing people and communities that I've been able to connect with just, by hanging out in this space and really exploring the things that I was excited about. So that's, for me, I think something that I look forward to continuing, on this gerbil journey as well, because all of the cool things, like this fun fact was the only podcast I'd ever really listened to. So
Wow.
when I was coming to the gerbil listening parties, this is the experience that I had for podcasts. So I set, everybody else up against what the gerbils do now.
That's amazing that this was the only podcast that you were listening to. I guess we were covering it all at the time.
Yeah, and I just I wasn't a podcast person, so it was one of those chances to really kind of expand my horizons and see what else was out in the world that I needed to check out.
Well, you're so deeply integrated into so many communities and have such a good finger on the pulse of the NFT space. I think the value that you're going to bring to listeners is going to be huge. So yeah. Oh, what's DTF, by the way? I don't know what that.
Digital kitties that were down to fuck, which was absolutely inappropriate and totally hilarious. And that was when I was like, you know what, like they clearly like are embracing, this like kind of wilder degen side of things. And the website has been updated for the last couple of years. It doesn't say that any longer. I think they had to answer too many questions about it, probably. But if I were able to make one change, I would totally bring that back because it was hilarious.
I didn't think they were that gritty. That's that's surprising. I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like a super brief while that it was on there, and it's funny because if you think about it, like the whole basis of CryptoKitties was that you have these cats, and as long as you have a cat, you could use your cat to breed another cat because you could use what's called the siring market, so people could pimp their kitties, and kind of put them up for auction, and provide their services to others to make more cats. So there's like over 2 million of these at this point. They have been absolutely wild.
It's so beautiful that stopped the Ethereum blockchain. Well, I say stopped, slowed it down to the point where it was barely working. So we DTF'd Ethereum. I think that's brilliant. It's amazing, really, how far things have come. But at the same time, how deep down, I think we all kind of still want those kind of projects to appear, right?
Yeah, things that are going to shake things up and break things
up and have fun and have a tone of voice that kind of recognizes, how fun the NFT space can be. Things that are more fun and have more utility than just maybe what the price was last night versus this morning. This idea of a price floor is when that came into the NFT space. I don't know. It was financializing something that should have been about mating kittens, but hey, we are where we are, and we have to embrace it in all its various forms.
So speaking of things that are shaking things up and bringing things to a halt or changing things, have you guys played with ChatGPT?
I have, and I feel like it could have an effect on our gerbil responses. Given that many of our long-term dear listeners probably spent many an hour devising sonnets to the weird and wonderful gerbils that we came up with, I suspect that time might be compressed using this tool. What do you think?
Well, let me just read you something that I put into ChatGPT. My prompt was write a Shakespearean sonnet about NFTs. It replied, "Oh, NFTs, Thou art a marvel of technology, a digital asset of unique variety. Thou provest ownership and authenticity, and art stored upon a blockchain eternally. With cryptographic hash, thou art verified, as one of a kind, a rare and precious find. Thou representeth art, music, and literature, and virtual collectibles of every kind.
Beautiful.
I won't finish, but I think that my mind is completely blown that a computer wrote that.
Yeah.
It is super fun. And I think it did a good job, but I will say my experience with ChatGPT and other similar products is that you really only get content, based on your prompt. So you need to be able to provide it the right prompt. And they're getting better about, kind of taking liberties and giving you things, but it still requires, a person to give it a prompt. And that maybe is, where we need to focus on, because shortening the time for getting the output is nice, but you still need to determine whether or not that is even the output you want to submit.
So the skill has potentially changed. I mean, there will be people who still want to write their own, hopefully. but yeah, maybe the skill now is how to best work with AI to get the desired outcome.
I have a PhD in prompting, so I'm probably highly qualified to massage GPT to produce the ultimate in gerbil-based sonnets.
Well, it's the only skill that you're going to need in the digital future, isn't it? Potentially. How to get AI to draw your pictures, animate your videos, write your blog. Yeah.
I think that's very much the world we're heading into. What do you think this kind of technology means for the wider NFT space? Do we imagine that the sort of tsunami of NFTs coming down the line, given that this technology is out there, and also is blockchain the answer as to being able to derive, AI derived NFTs from creator derived NFTs, and moving beyond NFTs generally, just to content generally, being able to look at metadata on a blockchain, metadata that proves this video comes from a verified source, if there is such a thing as a verified source. It's basically a gigantic can of worms that we'll have to continue to explore as a species for many years to come.
Well, artists will probably have to record themselves creating everything that they want to sell, because how else do you prove that they've actually created it themselves?
Dear Video GPT, please create a video of me making an artwork, so as that the artwork output is the same as the NFT. As I said, I have a PhD in prompting, as you can tell.
Oh, that's some serious prompt ninja skills there, George. Yes, but there's a very, very good point, though. We're probably not very far away from that.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, I think the world of obviously visual arts, but literature's. There was an inflection point about 3 months ago where I think that literature has changed forever in terms of how it's produced. I mean, I still suspect that this is very much still in the sort of hyper early stage adoption curve. I don't think the world at large fully realizes that it's there yet, but we tend to spend quite a lot of our time on the edges of tech as three NFT podcasters, so we're going to come across this stuff. But I mean, if the inflection point for music isn't far off, and the inflection point for visual arts isn't far off, and video isn't far. I mean, these are all inflection points that'll hit us fairly soon, I think. And I think this will have a very real effect on the NFT space, and potentially in terms of NFT curation, and being able to delineate between AI produced and I suppose you could say, human-produced work, and whether there is variance in interest or variance in price or variance in collectability. It's going to be super interesting to watch how curation changes over time.
Yeah, I'd imagine that we also see AI detection. AI.
It's AI inception, people. This is it now.
It is. And then we need another AI to check that the first AI was correct and not cheating.
I think there is actually. I was seeing some articles about somebody who had spent, I think it was like New Year's Eve, creating a similar product that would actually detect whether or not the text was written by ChatGPT.
Nice. Well, there we go. It's now all out war between ChatGPT and ChatGPT detector. And this is how Skynet begins, right? The humans are getting in the way between the war between the two AIs. Anyway, it has lots of amazing positive impacts.
There's a lot of potential for sure.
Yeah, and scary potential as well. But I think that's part of moving forwards, right? I just didn't expect us to be here so quickly.
Well, it sets the scene nicely for 2023, because I think this year we're going to see more and more of it appear in all mediums. And so not only are we charting, what will hopefully become another rise of digital assets, unique digital assets, but against a backdrop of AI generated content. And so it's yet another facet on our journey now as a trio of trying to chart the space and how it moves forward. But I agree that it's going to be part of the backdrop, I think. Certainly in terms of the creativity, and also in terms of the way that our gerbil stories are produced. Let's see how things pan out.
Yeah, I think it's fine if people want to use that to help them write stories. Maybe it brings down the barrier to entry, and so people are more likely to get involved, because actually, putting yourself out there in a creative way is quite intimidating for lots of people. So yeah, watch this space. Let's start. We need a gerbil to begin the process. So Rudem00se, you've picked a fantastic gerbil for the next story.
I have, and I feel like when we had originally discussed this gerbil, it was in a slightly different context, but with, the sudden, very drastic rise in popularity of things like ChatGPT, having brave new gerbil be the next topic is super appropriate in a, kind of fun and, potentially dystopian, depending on how it goes, way.
It's totally spot on. Perfect for the day. Brave new gerbil.
I'm super excited to see these.
I'm going to have to go and read Brave New World just to refresh my memory and get the picture again. Yes. Maybe everyone else does it as well.
It's in my top favorite books, so fun moose fact.
Awesome. Great. So that's us. This is 2023. Onwards and upwards with the podcast and gerbil creation and brave new gerbil. So send us your entries. The other thing that is worth checking out is our gerbil security blog, which we've written on GitHub. And so it's open to commit changes and additions if anyone feels like there is something missing there. But basically, we've written a how to not get hacked and lose all your NFTs security guide. So I'll link that in the show notes. Go and check it out. Give us your feedback. Submit changes. It would be cool to have it as a working kind of living document that changes as things change.
Definitely good to keep all of our communities safe.
Yeah, definitely. There was a big spate of hacks and problems towards the end of last year. Well, from the middle of last year. possibly all of last year. So yeah, hopefully we can do our bit in trying to help people. So yeah, check that out, and welcome to the podcast, and Happy New Year, everyone.
Thanks, Luke. Super excited. Let's get this show on the road.
With enough fun, gerbils, come on now, enough fun with the gerbils. We interview founders and builders with the focus on the tech and the fundamentals. George and Luke have been friends since they were kids. We collaborate with the audience to make scarce, dank, creative gerbils. Rudem00se is a force to be reckoned with. We're the non-fun, we're the gerbils. We're the non-fun gerbils. Yeah, we're the non-fun gerbils. We're the Gerbil.